Is this the real life? Or is just fantasy? What's the real life? What's the fantasy? Most people are living in a fantasy. Most people live in a fantasy. Very few people who don't live in a fantasy, out of them, very few people are actually the people who could change things and afflict change not only to their lives, but also to the lives of others. Well, what separates the boys from the man? What separates those people from the rest? And that's what we can learn from Yaakov Avinu. You know, things happen to us all the time. Things happen to us all the time. But as things happen, they are just things that happen. They're not good, nor bad. In other words, they're just facts. It's a fact that something happened. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. The way you interpret that determines whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. The problem is when, let's say, I call it things, when things happen, events happen, we tend to mix it up with our own emotion and self-perspective about life and so on and so forth, our self-interest and what would I get out of it if, and what would I get out of it if I don't. Can you just close the door? And so on and so forth. And once I'm getting tinted with my self perspective on it, it's not a fact anymore, and therefore I am personally involved in that event that happened, and coming with my own baggage, which is hard it is to carry as it is, it becomes a big clumsy thing, and it's just another collection of rocks to the sack that I have tied to the bottom of my legs that keeps pulling me down to the point that I'm drowning. And as a fact, I cannot solve anything. I'll give you an example from Yaakov Avinu. The famous story. Now you might think Yaakov Avinu, how do you say it in slang, a sucker. Comes Lavan, tells him, you said, listen, Lavan and you, my dear uncle, I want to marry your daughter. So he says, better wiping is in order. Okay, fine, I want to marry my daughter, no problem. 7 years, trabajo, go work 7 years. Go work for 7 years. How do I come up with those things? It's a long story. So Yaakov says, okay, 7 years. He doesn't say, what? 7 years? I'm going to work for 7 years? What kind of a thing is that? He said, okay, 7 years, I'm working. Then it turns up to be, instead of Rachel, it was Leah. He says, okay. He says to him again, listen, you cheated me. He says, okay, you want Rachel? He says, yes, I do. He says, okay, 7 more years. Yaakov says, okay, 7 more years, let it be. It's a fact. The guy is a liar. Things are a fact. He doesn't say, oh my goodness, he cheated me, he got involved. When you get so emotionally involved in that, almost to the point that you are obsessed with your own events of life, you're not interested in solving your problems. You are falling in love with your own self, with your own agony, with your own events, with your own facts that happen with your life. And the reason is very simple. Because when something happens, you need to say, okay, it happened. This happened. Things happen. Other things happen too. But that thing happens and it happened to me. Now, what should I do about it? What needs to be done in order to solve, Shabbat Shalom, Shmulik, in order to solve this problem, in order to resolve that issue? I'm out of this situation. It just happened. The situation has been presented to me. What needs to be done to resolve this issue? So it needs to be done. Oh, let's see. This will be 1, 2, 3, and 4. But when you're saying it happened to me, oh, this happened to me and that happens to me and I have bad luck, and what does God want from me? Why does He do it to me? Why did you do it to me? Why always me? I'm trying, it doesn't work. I quit, I give up, that's it, I give up. I'm just going to be a zombie. I'm just going to let life take me whatever life wants to take me. I give up, I lift my hands, that's it, I'm not doing this anymore. No, you solve the situation as it comes. That is a tremendous lesson. And nobody went through such hardship as Yaakov Avinu, and yet Yaakov Avinu is able to overcome all these things that happen to his life. And you see that when Yaakov Avinu gets personally involved with that, where Yosef is being sold, he loses it all out. I mean, the same person that dealt with the biggest Ramai, because he removed himself out of it, when he comes to Yosef, he loses it. When he comes to selling Yosef, he loses it. Why? Instead of saying, wait a minute, an animal ate him, is any remnants of him, anything left? Can you show me where? Let's try to bring him to burial. But an animal came, even bears. That bears are of ferocious, carnivores. They will kill you, and then they will eat a little bit, and most likely drag it. So let's look for it. Let's bring him to be buried. He right away falls into despair, because how could it happen to me that my beloved son had happened to? So he loses track. He says, oh, maybe it didn't happen to him. Let's look for search and rescue. Again, let's do some, which is a noble thing in the Jewish world, to bring somebody to be appropriately buried in Kever Israel, in a Jewish burial. To give somebody a Jewish burial is the greatest act of chesed that one could do. Yaakov Avinu loses that. He can't think. And it's because he can't think, Ruach HaKodesh does not come to you. He lost it. So you have within one person, and I do believe, to my very insignificant opinion, I do believe that the Torah gives us those two examples to actually look, that one person can be this or could be that. The same thing as we are one person, an event happened to us. So therefore, Rabbatai, never give up. Don't get too obsessed with or don't fall in love with your agonies. Something happens, you move on, you bounce back. I always try to look at it this way, like the best running backs, right? In football, they take the ball, they run. The door is closed. You have like some goons over there standing, huge guys. Bounces into this one. He tries. He would turn. He would try this one. Run this way. An opening will have to come, and then he is out of his way, and then he scores a touchdown. That's the way. Don't give up. Oh, these people are coming. All right, I give up. You lay down on your back like a little puppy. That's not the way to go about things. Remove yourself from the self. Don't personalize the events or facts that happen. Move on. Keep on pushing. Keep on looking for an opening. An opening will come, and then you ride through it. Then you score the touchdown. Otherwise, you get sacked. And that is a very good way to look at things, and a very productive way to look at things, and especially when it comes to Torah. And the reason why I'm saying to you, because I do hear recently a lot of people telling me they gave up. A lot of people say it's just, I try, I don't know what God wants from me. God doesn't want anything for you besides what's best for you. You need to understand that. Therefore, don't give up. Assess the situation. That's what separates foot soldiers from real leaders, real commanders. This is a battlefield, and you can't fall into the chaos, into the fog of battle. You need to understand the main principle, the main concept, look at the event and see how you're going to make the best out of it. Shabbat Shalom.